Okay, so I have to say once again that I'm not trying to hold anybody up to ridicule here. I think that, as I say in the caption here, um, your money, your choice. Different people play different ways. I absolutely don't understand the way that Brandon plays, but I have to recognise that he's doing a lot of it for drama's sake. I mean, betting every single slot on the table, suddenly zooming from a $100 bet to a $500 bet. It's all about drama, excitement, and so on. And for a lot of people, that's what gambling is. It's danger, it's excitement, it's thrills, it's lots of stuff that I don't understand. Never have. All the years that I was in Nevada, I never got it, and I guess that makes me stupid or something. But it's honestly up to Brandon, up to everybody who's got their own money in their hand, and that's the issue. Is it their own money, all their own money, or is it sort of like partially owned by somebody else who doesn't know that they're about to lose it all? But that's a whole different question. But the main thing is, I'm not trying to make an idiot of anybody. I think that these guys are far more successful than I am at attracting an audience. I think what they're offering is more exciting, more flash, more pizzazz than anything that I could put up. But you know, they're entitled to do whatever they want to do, and that's fine. Well, now, Brandon O'Brien's latest session at the El Cortez is. I got to admit, it's a challenge for pattern betting, but it's difficult because there's just no way that I would have put myself through this. But as I say in the thumbnail, why do people put themselves through this? It's their money, their choice. Um, I mean, Brandon was up against even after his burst of wins at the very end, which was quite a spectacular turnaround. He was 16% behind. The house had an edge in that session of 16%, which is at least 20 times negative expectation for blackjack. And the smart thing to do when you hit a deadly shoe is to just stop. When Brandon's at sea on his various and sundry MSC ships, he's got nowhere to go. So basically, he has to just keep on with the video. Now that he's on land for a brief period, I'm sure he can do whatever he wants. He can stop the video. He can start up at another table. He can do whatever. But it's quite possible that Brandon subscribes to the general theory that it doesn't make any difference where you go or what you do. Now, any dealer will tell you, any dealer that you talk to who's honest will say, yeah, I run hot and cold. And there are some days when a particular dealer is absolutely unbeatable. It's contrary to mathematics. It's contrary to almost every rule of the game. So, to the extent that there are rules, and I sometimes doubt it. But in my halcyon days of regular playing at casinos in Nevada, buddies that I made amongst the dealers at the different casinos would very often, as I walked up to their table, just shake their heads, say, "No, no, stay away." So the concept of a dealer just running hot and cold is absolutely true. And in this case, I know I would have fled after splitting out 5 bets. He did bet 2 hands, to be fair, but I didn't bother to put that into the middle bet because I think that was about the only time he did that in this very, very brief session. But it was a bloody nightmare, and Brandon did well to come back. There is a bit of a problem sometimes with the angles that these guys shoot their videos at, in that if they don't announce their bets, I can't always see exactly what's on the table. So Brandon said in his summary that he lost 150, having gone in for 1800. He lost 150. I've got him winning 50, but I don't think that matters in the grand scheme of things. What we're looking at here is a session which would have been difficult for pattern betting, largely because I just wouldn't have stuck it out. I just would not. But here you see what happens. You see that pattern betting calls for falling back to the table minimum after getting kicked for Alexis stop. After getting kicked for $500, $800 losses, and that kind of thing is really rare. But it happens, So you've got to you got to make allowances for it. Brandon did not announce what the table maximum was at that casino. I have a feeling it might have been as low as 1,000, in which case pattern betting would have been screwed. But then, of course, pattern betting would not have been at the table, because if we change the max to 10,000, it tells a very different story. And this is the kind of thing that you have to look at. Sensible play would have been to pull out after the 5 loss, and then wait a bit to get a sense of the next shoe. You can't know in advance what you're going to get, but you get a feeling, and in the same way that, of course, Brandon at the very end did not have a feeling ahead of time about that winning streak that came, although maybe he did have a little voice in his ear that said bet 300, and he bet 300 3 times and he won 300 3 times, which was amazing. The thing that I find surprising was that he was still behind, but he dropped back to 50. I mean, I would have still been at 300 for those last 3 bets, I tell you, if I'd been playing Brandon's way. But then Brandon's way most definitely is not my way. He bets randomly, he bets emotionally, he bets he has this shit or bust approach that lots and lots of gamblers do, and I don't think that makes for a good long-term prospect. But anyway, let's bring this back down to maybe I would have accepted a 2,500 maximum. I would have had to walk away. I think I would have just left, but then I've said that already. So here we have pattern betting a lot more than Brandon, and winning 8.9% of its action instead of his 1.6. And of course he reports that he lost 150. I'm sure he's right, because he knows what he was betting, and I must have misheard something. But it's interesting, the thing is, random betting is a lousy idea. There's just no doubt about it. Go and watch Steve Will Lose It, or Mr. HP, or any of these folks who bet randomly and erratically and emotionally, and let's use the right word here, stupidly. They're entitled to do that. It's their money. I would not let them. I wouldn't lend any of them any part of my enormous fortune to pursue their methods of play. But anyway, that's the story with Brandon, and this is just a short video to kind of confirm that Brandon's way is definitely not my way, but Brandon's way is the way that he's entitled to have it, because it's his money at stake. End of story. So, see you next time. Okay, so something I failed to include in the brief Brandon video just now is the charts. And what you can see here is you can see that, yeah, sure, pattern betting comes out way ahead of Brandon, but doesn't really count for much, because, let's face it, went a lot deeper into a very deep hole, all the way down to 14,250 in the hole before coming roaring out with those last few bets. It sounds, kind of like I don't know. I really don't understand why anybody would sit still for the kind of thrashing that Brandon got at the very beginning. I mean, for goodness sake, sort of 18 bets behind in almost as many bets. It's inconceivable to me. But anyway, that's how it goes. It's up to the player. It's the player's money, and if the player wants to burn it, flush it, I don't know, give it away, whatever. Definitely their choice. Brandon is actually, I think, an interesting player because he's very much like the vast majority of people who gamble in casinos, and I feel bound to say how people play is up to them. And for lots of people, the risk of losing is a big part of the fun of playing. I don't get it. I never have. But I've certainly observed a lot of it and been quite scared sometimes for the people who really put their lives on the line. And as far as I'm concerned, far worse. Expose family members who are not betting alongside them to great loss as well. I mean, I have seen it so many times in all the years, in the nearly 30 years that I lived in northern Nevada, and the nearly 40 years that I was regularly visiting Nevada, because when I lived in Los Angeles County, I used to make regular trips to Las Vegas, often for work, because I was interviewing people whose shows were on in Vegas, and going for various and sundry, I don't know, it doesn't matter, news stories, exciting stuff going on. And of course Las Vegas has actually absolutely exploded since my first visit in, I guess it was 1977. I think my first year in Los Angeles was 1976, and I don't remember going to Las Vegas then, but I certainly got there the following year and then regularly thereafter. So that's the story, but I don't count this as a fair test for pattern betting. I do think it's a fair test for Brandon because this is the way that he chooses to play. He's all over the place, he's emotional, he has this sort of shit or bust approach, as I've said before, and it's entirely his right. It's how people mostly like to play. It's sort of like, okay, well, I brought 2,000, so I'm, if I can't win, then I'm going to blow it all, that kind of thing. And his turnaround was absolutely amazing. I mean, there he was, 12 bets down, and then in the next 7 bets, he came roaring back. I mean, with a succession of wins that was like, let's see, what was it? 2 wins at $300, another win at $300, a double down at 50. Why he dropped is beyond me. One at 75, and then a double down at 25. And he himself said in the video, well, I have no idea why I bet 25. Good question. But anyway, that's that. The whole message that I have here is that I would not have sat still for this. There are many other sessions which I consider more relevant because they're longer, and the one thing that was good about Brandon's particular short session this time was that he didn't walk away during what could have been or before the end of what could have been a recovery. He certainly got his money back, or as close to his money back as possible. He said in his video that he lost 150. Well, he actually said in the video that he won 150, but then when he edited the video, corrected himself and said that actually he was down 150. But he's an interesting guy to watch because, as I say, he's representative of, at least 99.99% of gamblers. He's in it for thrills, he's in it for excitement, and of course he's got that added little bit where he's going for drama for the video's sake. I wish he would announce his bets more consistently. And I wish he'd change his camera angle sometimes. I know that I'm developing a plan now to do some casino video work of my own, but I will have probably at least a 2 camera, and maybe if I can work out the logistics and also the expense, a controlled 3 camera setup where you can see straight down at the cards when you need to, straight across to the chips when you need to, so that you can see exactly what's going on, and a more general kind of shot of action, just to kind of break it up a bit, because I think a lot of these videos are rather kind of tedious because it's just one angle. But never mind. I suppose for most people, what they want is the action. They want to see the excitement. They want to see Jason or Brandon or Vegas Matt or Steve Will Lose It or whoever, doing their thing and playing like idiots and doing all the daft things that then the fans don't have to do for themselves. Vegas Matt made that comment in one of his most recent posts, where he said, "We take stupid risks, we gamble like idiots so that you don't have to." And he got it right there, I think. Anyway, goodbye for now.